Dude, the internet has been on fire in the music world, man. And this has been kind of wild to watch unfold and also kind of funny at the same time, like talking to other friends about it and thinking about it. But today I want to talk about this situation with Machine Gun Kelly releasing a brand new guitar from Schecter Guitars, who he's been sponsored by for a while. They've released other Machine Gun Kelly signatures, but this one caught the attention of a lot of people for what might be obvious reasons to some people when I show it on screen here in a second. But yeah, it's been a very polarizing conversation, and I kind of just want to weigh in on this and kind of give you my thoughts, because stuff like this I don't think is as black and white as it seems. But let's dive in. For those of you that aren't familiar, let's look at this guitar. So there you have it, the new signature from Schecter. The Machine Gun Kelly Razor Blade, featuring Schecter USA Pasadena Plus bridge pickup and master volume kill switch controls. Pretty simple, to be honest. It's Schecter, so I bet the actual hardware and the design and everything on it is actually probably sounds pretty good and plays pretty good. But that body style, man, I mean, for me personally, I would never play it just on the fact that it's like, I don't know, it looks like it would be uncomfortable to play. It's just, imagine just playing a box. But let's talk about the design, because the design is what has everybody in a fit on the internet right now. It's obviously a razor blade. We can all see that. It's called the Razor Blade. Now, I will fully admit that in the last 12 hours or so, I've changed my stance on this after reading a lot of stuff. But my first gut initial reaction to this, I'm not gonna lie, was, wow, that seems like a very bad choice for a scene that has a history of self-harm with some of their fans. Pop punk, emo music. I mean, the era that I was growing up in, in the early mid 2000s, stuff like that, listening to pop punk and emo music. Yeah, there was a lot of self-harm in that community. And I don't want to get too deep here, because I know YouTube has absolutely stupid rules with community guidelines where I can't talk too much about self-harm and stuff, even if it's in a positive way. So you guys know what I'm getting at here. My first gut initial reaction was horrible choice. I was like, that is just, I don't know why he would want to do that or why Schecter would agree to do that, but I didn't say anything about it. I wanted to see what everybody else was going to say about it. And we got a lot of stuff going on. One of the first things that I saw was from MetalBirb. We all know MetalBirb, and this got a lot of attention. MetalBirb posted, "I know MGK sucks and people don't like him, but what's up with the guitar being a razor? It's almost like it's glorifying self-harm. Schecter, man, the scene has problems with mental health, and making tools that can cause self-harm look cool is actually super lame. Also, the guitar is hideous, but that's just obvious." Again, as I just previously stated, I shared some of those similar sentiments at first. I don't know if I would say it was glorifying self-harm, but I definitely thought it was questionable. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't, maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's something about his music, or that's a reference that I'm missing or something like that. But yeah, we have MetalBirb, and kind of surprised. I didn't know that Machine Gun Kelly actually went online and read stuff about him or looked on Twitter and stuff. Machine Gun Kelly responded to MetalBirb and said, "You know your lack of depth by taking art at face value. This has nothing to do with any of the subject matter you just presented. So no, my friend, you suck." To which MetalBirb responded, "I actually don't mind your music, man. I find it catchy, and if you get more people into punk, that's a plus in my books. It's more majority of my followers doesn't like your music is what I meant at the beginning. But this guitar ain't it, in my opinion. The pink one is badass, but the razor design doesn't sit well with me. I know it's not your intent like I assumed, but kids will think razors are cool, and the emo pop punk scene is notorious for self-harm, and kids are super impressionable and look up to you. More calling out Schecter here, but that's just my 2 cents. Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up too. British Steel by Judas Priest had the razor too. Different time, I guess. But the one thing I will say about what both of them said, MGK said, "You know your lack of depth by taking art at face value." Well, how are you supposed to take art when you first see it anyways? I mean, there's a lot of things that I've looked at art-wise, music especially, or movies or whatever, that the first time I see it and I take it at face value, I may have an opinion on it. But the more and more I think about it and the more I look at it, my opinion on that art changes, which is what's happened with this, in the last 12 hours or so. So that's, that happens. It does seem like Birb backpedaled a hair where he said, Because he did originally say, I know MGK sucks and people don't like him. But then he said, I actually don't mind your music. It's just my followers don't like your music. And that's what I meant. You could say that, like, maybe that's what he meant. Like, but I think if you're going to word something like that next time, maybe say, I know some of you guys think MGK sucks or whatever, or just leave that out. I don't know. But I don't think just because he has a Razor guitar, kids are going to think their Razors are cool. But one of the things that Birb said is more calling out Schecter here, but that's just my 2 cents. That's a full back pedal because MGK has the final say in this design. Schecter didn't just come up with this design and show it to MGK and say, hey, what do you think of this? And he signed off on it. When artists get signatures, it's a signature. And Birb knows this. I do think he's backpedaling a little bit, but whatever. MGK's personal design was in that. But anyways, MGK posted another thing that said, I'll never explain my art because true art is conversational and always up for interpretation. But I will say, most of you constantly interpret it wrong and then blame me for your version of what you think my art is. Ultimately, I'm sad at how people perceive me in general. Peace. Now that's a bummer. Like I can on some level relate and empathize with that. Like he said, ultimately I'm sad at how people perceive me in general. Yeah, could you imagine like all the negative hate that he gets online for no reason? We've talked about this in the past with Ronnie Radke before. Like him or not, whatever, that guy gets attacked more than any person in the music industry that I've ever seen. Like, how do you think you would feel if you woke up every single day and went online and it's nothing but people coming after you? But aside from that point, I actually think him saying I'll never explain my art because it's conversational and it's up for interpretation, but you guys are interpreting it wrong, then explain your art. Because while art is definitely up for interpretation, for sure, from the people that are looking at it, the person who created the art definitely has a vision in mind. So in a specific situation like this, I would actually love a response from Machine Gun Kelly to explain why he what this is. I actually don't mind Machine Gun Kelly's music. Like it's that style of music is not something that I listen to nowadays on my own that I'm going to. But here on stream, we've listened to his music and I've given it a chance and I'm like, this is not bad. Like, I don't know why everybody hates on this guy because his music is pretty good. But where I was going with that is that because I'm not that familiar with him, this might be some kind of thing that his fans may get that I don't. But because it is being taken so weird, maybe he should be like, this is why we did this design. Ninja Tech just said there's live video footage of him explaining the design. Somebody find that. Somebody find that while we're going through this, please. Womp Rock and Roll just said, I still think he's pandering on his current genre in an absolute way. If this was a $100 to $200 gimmick, I'd be all about it, but this is a lame cash grab with a respected guitar company, if you ask me. Oh, I don't think so. It's not like this is the first signature guitar that he's had with Schecter. He's had multiple signature guitars with Schecter, electrics and acoustics with Schecter in the past. They've been working together for a while. To answer the question, people in chat are saying, how much is it? It is available for $1,499, which for a signature model with the kind of specs that it has on it is not a bad cost. Me personally, I wouldn't buy it just because, again, I just don't like the design and how it's shaped and stuff like that. But I don't know. This doesn't seem like a cash grab or a gimmick to me. It's like you said, if it was a $100 or $200 thing, you wouldn't be upset. But the fact that it's $1,400, it is. So it's just the price. I don't know. I just don't see it that way.
A few moments later.
Oi, bruv. Frost just found us clips about referencing the Razor stuff. Now, this actually came, somebody responded to MetalBirb again and said, all MGK does is help the scene, but you just chose to hop on the hate train by saying, I know MGK sucks. That's what really sucks. Also, let's not reach without knowing the full context. MGK clearly said it's an ode to his art, but he's the bad guy because his guitar is based on his art.
I can't meditate if I can extend my shave from like 5 minutes to 15 minutes and like do it right and play good music and stuff, then maybe that's like my little meditation.
I use a razor to take off the edge, jump off the ledge. I use a razor to take off the edge, jump off the ledge, they said. You know what they go?
MGK uses cheap, obvious rhymes, razors, and cut. I'm not talking about cutting my wrist, dumb. I'm talking about I use a single blade razor to shave my face because I have so much anxiety I can't sit the fuck still for 5 seconds. The only time I have in the day, because I don't meditate, because I drink so much, because I smoke cigarettes like it's my fucking job, the only time I give myself to calm down, to take off the edge, is when I use a razor to take off the edge, to just sit there for 5 minutes, shave my face. That's one line in the first song of that album.
It's kind of an ode to Take Us to My Downfall, the line on title track.
Okay, so he's having a piss of the situation. That's what it is. He's having a giant piss of the situation where people mistakenly thought his lyrics were one thing when they were something else, and that's him just trolling, basically. That's what it is. I mean, I didn't know that an hour ago. I don't listen to all of his music. Now, I will fully admit I've seen some people in chat say calling BS on the lyric and stuff. I can't say if that explanation is true or not because I'm not inside his brain. I don't know if that is. Me listening to it at face value, which is something we talked about earlier, sounds like he was probably cutting up coke. But, you know, I think a few other people said that too. But shaving is not something that I would have thought of at all based on the lyrics and stuff like that. But again, that was his explanation. He's the artist. I have nothing to argue with that. Yeah, it's a troll, kind of. And his fans will probably get behind it because they're probably very familiar with the whole razor blade confusion incident that I am now up to speed with, and they'll probably buy it. So actually, it's really good marketing if you think about it. Now, I want to go back to Raygor had asked a little while ago, do you think I'm paraphrasing here. When I edit, I'll put the actual question on the screen, but Raygor said something like, do you think if like Dimebag Darrell would have released this exact guitar, there'd be any uproar about it? No! Fuck no, there wouldn't. Are you kidding me? The only reason people are upset is because it's MGK. Let's be honest. If one of the guys from Blink-182 released this guitar, I don't think there would be as big of an uproar. If Dimebag released that guitar, fucking metalheads everywhere would be running to Guitar Center to buy that fucking guitar immediately. Dragon's Dead said, I think the problem is the scene it's in. No, that was my first gut reaction on it too. In a scene that does have a past history of self-harm and cutting and stuff like that, yes, it seems, at face value, it does seem kind of sketchy. And that was my first gut thought, like we talked about too. But now digging through the background of this and learning more about it, I don't have an opinion, man. You know what? I'm getting to the point in my life where I don't fucking care anymore. Like there are people literally losing sleep over this because they're so fucking mad. I don't care. I don't care what, like, the bottom line, him releasing this guitar does nothing that will affect my life. So why be upset about it? I understand that this is, and I've been guilty of this too. I'm not trying to act like I'm a perfect saint here. Or I'm better than anybody, but like the older I get, especially in this day of social media, I'm starting to realize why even get upset about anything anymore? I'm starting to just not care about what anybody else is doing with anything unless it directly affects me or my wife or my child's life. That's not to say I don't have empathy or sympathy for anybody else in the world, but just if I can't control it, why get mad about it? I'm not going to lose sleep over an MGK guitar. I'll tell you that right now. And I don't think anybody else should either. Yeah, like El Nuvian said, we need to be getting upset about things that genuinely matter. So anyways, I just wanted to check out what all the commotion and all the hype was about that. And, you know, everybody's going to have opinions about this. I mean, people love drama on the internet and on the music industry. We know that. I've covered a lot of it, you know. It's kind of funny. The other day I was thinking, you know that meme of the dude from Breaking Bad that like runs El Pollo Loco? Well, I can't remember his name. But anyways, there's the meme where he's like, you know, you do this because something, I do this because something, we are not the same. I was thinking about like content like this, and it's like, you're talking about MGK because you're offended. I'm talking about MGK because it's going to bring me views on YouTube. We are not the same. Anyways, guys, if anybody has any thoughts on the matter, especially those of you watching on YouTube later, feel free to drop them in the comments. But I'm going to wrap this one up. There's no need to get bent out of shape. Honestly, kind of like MGK said, this is going to look different from whichever way somebody looks at it from. There are people that are offended by this. There are people that think it's a bad move. And then there are other people that are like, it's art, who cares, whatever. You can't please everybody. And at the end of the day, this guitar is probably going to make a lot of money for him and Schecter anyways. So to those of you that are on Twitch, thank you so much for being here. If you'd like to join us on Twitch when we have these conversations, you can go to twitch.tv/TankTheTech. We often talk about the music industry and do a lot of other stupid stuff. I'm also on a ton of different social media. Instagram is where I'm the most active, but my handle on just about everything is @TankTheTech. But I have to go and join this Rocket League tournament that we're going to win in a second. So wherever you are in the world, be safe, be kind to each other. I love you all, and I will be back very soon.